Welcome back. This is Dr. Kalishwari Selvaraj, Assistant Professor from Department of Management, Kristu Jayanti University. So today we are going to talk about the objectives of supply chain management. So as an overview, we saw what is supply chain management, what are the important key factors or the key information flow or the key funds which will flow in between the information, the fund, and the supply. All these things we saw in the previous video. As a continuation of supply chain management, now we are going to discuss about the objectives of supply chain. So when we talk about supply chain, it immediately strikes that it is about the global network or the organization which operates or cooperates in improving the flow of material from one place to another or the information between the supplier till the end user. So it also focuses on this high speed or the cost reduction process. So the major objective of supply chain is attaining the customer satisfaction. So supply chain management takes into consideration of every facility that has impact on cost and it plays a major role in making the product to match the customer's requirement. The main purpose of supply chain is to maximize overall value generations. So value is the difference between what the cost supply chain incurs and the worth end product has to the customer. So value of commercial supply chain is correlated with the profitability we earn as an organization. So supply chain is focusing on the surplus. For example, a customer purchases a personal computer from IBM at $2,000, which indicates the revenue supply chain achieved. All the stages incurs cost to make sure the efficient transfer of fund, information storage of the product, and the transportation to the final customer. So the difference between the supply chain cost and the revenue generated from personal computer represent the supply chain surplus. Likewise, in accountancy, how supply or the surplus amount is said to be the profitability or the revenue. Likewise, in supply chain management also, it focuses on the supply chain surplus. The cost incurred in meeting of the supply chain management and the surplus we earn through the end process of that supply chain is which shows the supply chain surplus. So supply chain surplus can also be defined as the total profit shared by all the stages and the intermediaries of the supply chain. So when supply chain is more successful when supply chain earns the surplus. So the supply chain success is always measured on the surplus, not by the profit at each stage. And when supply chain management has to be efficient or cost effective across the entire system, the transportation and the distribution channels to the inventories are the major focus on. So it focuses on distribution to inventories of raw material, work in progress, or the finished goods, and it emphasizes in minimization of the transportation cost and reducing the cost of inventories. So the major objectives of supply chain can be listed below as like enhancing the customer service, expanding the sales revenue, reducing the inventory cost, improving on-time delivery, reducing the order to delivery recycle time, reducing lead time, reducing transportation cost, reducing the warehouse cost, reducing the supplier base, and expanding the depth of distribution. So all these important factors are the major objectives of supply chain management. So when it talks about the enhancement of customer service, it talks about the timely delivery, the expectation of the customer, the satisfaction level of the customers. So when it meets the delivery time at right place, right price, and the right product. And when it comes to the expanding of sales revenue, it focuses on the cost incurred while maintaining the supply chain and the income or the revenue generated as the supply chain surplus. Reducing the inventory cost also involves in maintaining a proper inventory control technique. That is the proper inventory management technique. Likewise, as per each of the organization also decides to maintain different inventory management technique, which will help them maintain their inventory level at each time without incurring extra amount or without wastage of inventory level also, without wasting the cost involved also. So improving on-time delivery, which also plays a major role as a part of supply chain management, which also meets the needs of the customers by producing or by providing or by delivering the product on time. And reducing the order to delivery cycle time, which means the gap which happens while ordering till the delivery. It also focuses on reducing that time gap. and reducing the lead time, which focuses on reducing the time which taken to supply this particular product from one position to the another. And the reduction of transportation cost also focuses on reducing the cost involved in transportation from one place to another. And the warehouse cost, the storage capacity or the storage area which we focus, the location of the warehouse, also all these things together decides the cost incurred on warehouse. So supply chain is one such concept where it also focuses on reducing the warehouse costs and reducing the supplier base and also expanding the depth of distribution. So depth of distribution is not only from one place to another, it is across the nations. Suppose if we are a suppliers in Bangalore and if we are supplying products throughout India, that is the depth of the supply. It's not about maintaining the supply channel inside Bangalore. It's about the supply channel which should be apart from Bangalore, which connects the entire nation throughout, which will also help in increasing the sales revenue as well as the concentration or the efficiency of our supply chain management, how it works and makes the better market and how it helps in competing the global market as a organization, as a manufacturing firm. And then it comes to the concept of importance of supply chain. So the importance of supply chain is comes into picture when it focuses on to maintain the loss or to not attain loss because of effective supply chain strategies which a particular organization follows. For an example, suppose ABC is any company that manufactures the cycle chains for a cycle manufacturing company XYZ. Another company, PQR, manufactures bits used in a cycle chain manufactured by ABC. Now, in the upcoming days, as per the market forecast, XYZ shall need 50,000 units of cycle chain information that is not available with ABC. Accordingly, PQR also focuses not know how many bits to be produced in order to meet the ABC's requirement. So the result would be either both ABC or PQR hold high safety stock inventory or to lose business respectively with XYZ and ABC. So for with the example, only three supply chain partners. The absence of critical information among the partners, that is, of production forecast of XYZ firm, results into either a high inventory level or the loss of inventory level. So supply chain is very much important and it also helps in maintaining the proper record, proper information, proper fund flow, proper supply. All these things can only happen when an organization is having a proper supply chain management in that particular organization. So when we talk about the importance of having a proper supply chain management, it talks about the reduce in inventory along the chain, share better information, and plan accordingly with the consultation rather than the isolation. So this is why information, reduction in inventory, all these things plays a major role as the importance of supply chain management in an organization. Further, we are going to talk about the activities of supply chain management that involves three important things. One is strategic, tactical, and operational. So all these three important levels in the supply chain or the activities in the supply chain plays a major role in different parts of the companies. So when we talk about this strategic supply chain management, it is about the strategic decisions while the whole organization should focus on the size, the location of the manufacturing site, the partnership with whom we are going to borrow or buy the supplies, and the product to be manufactured and the sales market to be taken. All these decisions are taken in the strategic field. So, which includes the decision making part regarding the product design, what to make internally and what to outsource or the supply selection or the strategic partnering. All these things takes place in the concept of strategic. Then comes the tactical part. So the tactical decision focuses on adapting the measures that will produce or cost benefits, such as using industry best practices. And it also helps in focusing on the logistic companies to develop the cost effective transportation and developing a warehouse strategy where it can be more efficient than involving huge cost. So each such decisions are updated anywhere, anytime between every quarter, once in a year or every quarter. at each level of the distributions. So these includes purchasing, producing decisions, inventory policies. All those things are taking a major role in the tactical part. And when it comes to the operational part, it talks about the decisions at this level affects how the product move along the supply chain. Operational decisions involves making schedule changes and the production purchasing agreement with suppliers, taking orders from customers and moving the product from the warehouse to till the customer's end. So all these things are the operational part of a supply chain. So all these three important concepts are explained through a small conceptual model where it involves the strategic level, operational level, and the individual level of passing the information, placing the order, and the fund flow. All these things are explained through this one small conceptual model. And thank you again. We'll meet for the next topic of supply chain in the next video.